What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Thank you guys for joining us for another live stream. For those that are joining us for the first time, we go live Monday through Friday, and we talk usually during pre-market hours, plan out our trade, identify potential, and then we execute. We have a couple of people that are going to be tuning in right now. I do apologize for the delayed live stream. Sorry, but let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be sharing my screen, talking about and recapping a couple of the stocks that we talked about yesterday due to our Sunday stock talk. So let's kind of get things going. I see that within the TechBot Solutions group chat, you guys are already getting everything going. So I appreciate that. It looks like Brad yesterday, we called it out that it had a resistance at 230, popped over 230. Now is a new support approaching 240, which is going to be most likely the new resistance. And as you guys can see, hit 240 and is now seeing a downward trend. This thing showed about a 5% potential from top to bottom, or 4.17 if you want to be exact. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to follow up with that. AMD is hitting a $14 resistance, so it broke above 14. Can we get a small little squeeze to 1440? That's about 3.42%. So that isn't bad. But usually during when the market opens, there's a lot of, there's just a lot of overselling, and then we see a little bit of a pullback. So that's kind of what I want to follow up with and see if we can still hold and break above 14. And if we can, then it might be something interesting to trade today. RAD, already talked about that one. APRN had a drop. So for those that are joining us and don't know what platform I'm using, this is the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. As you guys can tell, it's a free platform. You guys can Google it on how to download it for free, as well as I do have a YouTube video. You guys can search up Thinkorswim on YouTube, and it will populate with my name on how to download it and how I personally use it. All right, well, it looks like APRN used to have a previous support at 720, had a little drop down to 672, and is now trying to make its way back up. Has a resistance at $7, meaning that it's struggling to hold above $7, although it did break above it during pre-market hours. But it's bouncing at 672, so it has about 3 to 4% potential. JNUG breaking above 17 during pre-market hours, bounced. It's trying to hold above 1720, so that's pretty sweet. It's I'm gonna wait. I have my alert set, or no, I don't. For the break, as you guys can see, there's a resistance at 1750. The reason why is that was an old support. So if we go a couple days back, that used to be an old support, and $17 is a pretty good price point where once it breaks above 17, we can go usually from 17 to 20 as it did in this margin. So it's been showing signs of upward momentum, but we need to make sure that it holds above 1750 before I make the decision to jump on it. We have 42% before 42 seconds before the market opens. Snapchat hitting lows of 1505 today, so it broke the support. Again, a support at overall 15, and it's seen a downward trend again, hit highs of 1545. So let's say we catch it at the bounce at 1510 and then sell it there. That's about 2.24%. It still looks like AMD and every other stock that we talked about has a little bit more potential. RAD was one that I was following up with. Hit highs of 26.79. Is that the highest that it hit? Yeah, because that was an old support, new resistance. So about 26.5. I caught it at 24. It's coming back down to 24. So if it bounces once again, then I'll make the decision to jump back in. So we have a question coming in from Rachel. She's asking within the TechBot Solutions group chat, asking me about the Ford. That's F. All my alerts are going to start coming in right now. Cara went last or above. Right, that's what I'm going to follow up with. I called that Ford when it was at $11, and that's where the support was. That was a while ago. So that's really sweet. It looks like based on this huge spike that it had a resistance at 1170. I really don't know if it's going to continue, going up, or if it's just going to meet, a little bit there, then just start coming back down. So I would have to go even further back. Actually, there's a pretty strong resistance, as you guys could tell. It peaks out usually around that point at 1180. So I'm going to set my alert. If it goes above 1180, we can have a little bit of a gap margin to make up. So it can usually make its way from 1180 to 1222. It's a pretty big margin. I saw ZN during pre-market hours and RSI is a little bit high. Let's go to level 2. Buyers at 405, sellers at 409. Resistance still at 420. Seeing a pullback, not really performing the way that I wanted to. All right. Where was it? Well, I don't know why my alert went off for this one. Okay. All right. Like we said, AMD usually has a pullback during the market open. Pullback at the previous support at 1390. Looks like it's bouncing already back and trying to make its way back up. Really don't like AMD at this price point. It's a little too high. RAD back at 23.4. Again, hit the resistance. Guys, we called this one out perfectly. Support at 230, resistance at 250, at 240. Not a huge margin, but again, 4 to 5% isn't bad. And especially if you're locking that in daily, that's huge. So Snapchat, again, just showing signs of downward momentum. I have my alert here if it continues to approach this previous bounce. And if it does, then we have a 2 to 3% margin if it bounces back where it is, with a bounce from here to here, or a potential for loss of about 0.03%, so very small loss. APRN, again, bouncing at $6.72 or 6.75. It's trying to hold above 680, but dang. The end had a really nice little pullback. So just set some alerts. It's a very delayed alert. It didn't go off. Okay. Yeah, it's a little slow. Thank you, TD Ameritrade. Alrighty, let's see what you guys have to say. Yeah. Um, I think you might be asking that. I mean, I trade like the same stocks pretty often. So like right now, I traded this one on Friday, and I identified the support at 395, but it broke it on Friday. But it broke above the resistance, which is something that it didn't do on Friday. So there's buyers here. I mean sellers here at 404. So it's bouncing, but no buyers at above $4. So okay, then we have a couple buyers, and it has this margin from $4 to 420. So I just again like for very simple and common trends, but um, and if I see something that's a little bit different, like APRN is not one that I've traded before, but it kind of made sense to me. It's back at the same support at 672. So if it bounces, then that trend would make sense to me because of the previous trend. But I actually think it's going to um, continue to drop. It's not showing really good signs of. Yeah, that was quick. Broke support at 670. Has it ever gone this low? No. Yep, that's the lowest. Yeah. So again, definitely not a good stock. It doesn't look like it's doing very well. Showing a lot of signs for downward momentum. So not necessarily something that you want to look at. Rig went above 880. Guys, I don't know if you guys saw last week, but this is the one that we called out. The one that was showing signs of upward momentum on this upward trend. It just broke above the 840 resistance, so it's continuing and making its way back to 883. Have to be a hold, but still has 4.45% margin if you guys think that it's going to make it all the way back up. I think the 840 resistance is going to be a little bit too strong. Maybe see a little bit of a pullback, and trying to catch it back at 830 would be a little bit more ideal. But it looks like the volume is doing pretty well. Let's see. So, man, there's I need to filter some out. Oh, so JNEG is back in this margin. Try to make its way back up. Seeing the downward trend, holding above 1730. So I saw a couple traders within our Techbot Solutions group chat that were up on JNEG. So congrats on your trade. I think a couple of you guys were talking about some swing trades. Yeah. Yeah. Resistance. All right. I just set my alert for this. Still seen a drop. Let's see. All right. Snapchat holding. I'm having trouble deciding on what to. This thing peaked out at 845 last week. Pandora. This one was called out by one of our traders, Barry. So huge shout out to you. He called it out from a very low support like 20 days ago, and he's been writing it up ever since. Bio's still going up. Resistance at $3. Current price is at 288. I like ZN, but I don't like the volume. Okay, so AMD is dropping. So it looks like it's showing signs of upward momentum. It's starting to hold above $4. Support at 390. This being a $4 stock, if I buy it at $4, stop loss out here, that's 1.2129%. Potential for profit, yeah, it's starting to pick up. I just might make this small trade then. All right, yeah, it's picking up a little bit quicker than, all right, well, I just missed it then because it's, let's see. Let me wait for a pullback and then get in that in. We should have, right as it broke, I should have been quicker. Right as it broke above $4, that, based on the previous support, that was already showing signs of, upward momentum. So, alrighty. So, So yeah, I'm gonna be and for those that are joining us for the first time, I use the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform to analyze stocks. I'm using the Fidelity app to execute on my position. So, right, yeah, the margin's just too small now. Crappity crap crap. Yeah, but okay. Well, there's no reason to waste time. I'll just set my alert. I was gonna just watch it, but that's just gonna be annoying because it's like just profit that I missed that on, right? So I did pretty well with ZN for the past 2 days, um, but yeah, there's a slight resistance at 410. So what are we doing today, team? Let's see. No, it's still dropping. I did pretty well. It's already back up. I should have put an alert on its way back down. All right, this was during pre-market hours, the lowest that it's ever hit. Should we jump into AMD and wait for the bounce? Kara, my goodness. Oh, dang, okay. So this thing's starting to pick up. How's this? No, but it's done this. Dang it. Yeah, this thing's pushing. All right. So ever since that huge drop that I had, it's had a bounce and it held in a support at 1183. It's been showing really good signs of upward momentum. This is definitely more of a momentum trade. So for those that again just want to be exposed to an opportunity for a momentum trades, then check out Kara. Doesn't mean that you guys have to trade it. Again, just do your own analysis and see if this is something that you guys see value in. I personally don't like trading this because it is, just like we said, more of a momentum stock. So I'll follow up with it and. I actually think I know what I'm going to get into, and it's just going to be AMD. Um, yeah, where is it at? Yeah, so that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for AMD to break a resistance, and it just broke it. It bounced at lows of 873. So my margin from top to bottom is going to be, oh my goodness, 2.14%. That's a little too small. Uh, yeah, I don't like that. Uh, yeah, no. JNUG is at resistance. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of struggling too. Looks like JNUG is doing pretty well. Obviously, 750 being a resistance, is there going to be the demand to actually push it through and then continue moving on forward? That's what we're going to be able to find out right now. So I have my alert set, and as you guys can see, it usually doesn't, trade very well above 750. Usually it's downward trend, and then this is like a new resistance that it's breaking. So if we could break it, then that's definitely a true sign of upward momentum, and maybe we can sell it. What? Okay, so yeah, JNUG is moving up. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we've caught a couple good ones. It's just been my fault to not jump in quick enough. The yen didn't perform the way that we expected it to. Yeah, it's just not the profit that I was looking for in the volume. I guess I should have scanned. I don't want to do all that trade right now. Oh, it's bouncing. So we called the bounce on this one pretty well. We what I did was I waited for the pullback. AMD is known very well for the pullback during market open, meaning that a lot of people like that hold or that are up based on their previous hold from the day before. Start locking in profits. There is a series of panic sellers or just sellers overall, which leads the demand for AMD at that higher price point to not no longer be there. So the amount of sellers exceed the amount of buyers. Huge drop, waiting for the bounce. And it's not just the way about the bounce, but some based on, just my experience, the most success that I see in is not just waiting for the bounce, but waiting for, it bounced at like 1370. So if it breaks above 1380, again, either a 0 or a 5 as it's coming back up, then that would show me that it's picking back up. 1380 was a previous support, so it would become a resistance if it was struggling to go above. And it just did a very good job, bouncing, and then it broke above 1380, which indicated, a bounce, and then it's making its way back up. So I just didn't see the potential for myself to get in at these lower price ones. Let me see how it played out. I might even just, I don't want to force my trade, and that's one of the things that I feel like I'm kind of doing right now. I'm not too sure if you guys have ever felt that way, but like almost just forcing a purchase just to get one out of the way. But that's definitely not something that you want to do. So if it's not a good buy and no stocks are, you didn't get in quick enough or anything like that, then there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and rethinking things, right? But I like that ZN is building up some volume. This one it usually isn't up this high. Pandora's killing it. Don't like that one. I don't even know why it's there. Wow, what the heck? It's funny. Diaz is approaching 24. I think I'm going to take it easy. Diaz is one that I've done pretty well on. If I could see a bounce on this one and then it starts picking back up, that's what I keep saying though. So it looks like it already did bounce. Oh my goodness. It looks like it already did bounce and it was holding above 24. I'm trying to hold above 24.40. It's having a pullback. I really wanted to see and break above a resistance, so that would be 24.20, or for it to go below 24 and then bounce back up above it. So I'm kind of like how we did that last time. But all right, I at least want those that tuned in live that haven't traded anything to at least hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole thought process of kind of just explaining things. I was thinking of potentially getting into AMD just because it's still close to the support at 1380, so it makes sense to me, right? It's still holding above the bounce, and it still has margin to be made. And if you guys look, since this bounce that it had about 2 days ago during pre-market hours, it's been showing signs of upward momentum to make its way back up to 1450. So understanding that if we can get in at 1380 and then sell around 49, 4.79% profit, which is not bad. So I'm gonna pick one more stock to focus on today. Is it gonna be this one? No. What the heck? Oh, I thought that it said rad. Okay, right, that's great. So I mean, it's making its way back up. So this one definitely has potential. Isn't moving as quick as we probably wanted to, but for those that are still in rig that you guys joined us on our call out, has a previous resistance at 880, so it has a pretty decent margin still to be made. From 845, that's about 4%, right? So Pandora still making its way back up. DGAS, so I'm looking at DGAS. Snapchat not really doing very well. Yeah, I don't want to jump in it right now. And then JNUG is kind of like that 1750 range. So I'm going to end it here. So one of the cool things that we did or talked about, just kind of recapping for those that didn't join us for the whole time, is when during pre-market hours and once the market actually opens, I think we did a pretty good job in taking a step back, waiting for the actual pullback to happen, and then waiting for the bounce. But it's not just the bounce that I personally want to wait for anymore. It's the bounce and then the break of a current resistance. So you guys can call out a critical point, and by being able to call that out, just like we did with AMD, that it bounced at 1370 or 1373, and then once it broke above, this just resistance that you have in mind that you've seen before, that was an old support, so that would be 1380, and once it broke above that, it started showing me that there were signs of upward momentum. And doing that, it was clear to me that AMD was starting to staircase back up. JNUG is killing it right now. It just broke above 1760, so that I'll do it right here. So stocks that I'm going to be watching today. So JNUG, the reason why it's just like we saw, we were seeing signs of upward momentum. So it broke above that 1750 resistance, and then it's making its way back up to like that $18 to 1850. So that's pretty cool. The other one is DGAS, right? DGAS has a previous support at $24. If we go sub 24, I'm going to wait for the bounce. So it previously bounced at 2380, and once it broke below 2380, it bounced right back above 24, which showed me that it broke the previous resistance, which is signs of upward momentum. So 24 is a support, and then I'm going to wait for the break above either. If it breaks above 2440, if it never breaks below 24, then that's going to be the resistance break. Or if it goes sub 24, then I'm going to wait for the break of 24. Now the other one that we're looking at is AMD. AMD from the price point of 1380 to 1450. And then one of the last ones that we're looking at, sorry about that, team. DGAS, it's back at 2409, which is a support. We did really well. AMD is still at 1385, so it's not too late on that one. RAD is still in the margin of 230 to 240. JNUG is still at 1760, so it's holding very well. It's showing good signs of upward momentum. Snapchat is still kind of crap. RIG is the one that I was looking at. And then ZN. So, what the heck? Oh, okay, so DGAS just went below 24. So we did go sub 24. So again, the only reason that okay, so it's at 2390. It's dropping pretty. Wow. Okay, well, I want to make sure that I don't miss the break above the resistance. So we have this, and then we have, crap, what was it? Was it RIG or RAD? Just get confused. No, it's RIG. And this one still has that margin, so it's showing signs of upward momentum, broke above that $8.40 resistance, and we're going from 840 to 880. Like 4, something like that. It's like 4%, almost 3 to 4%. So we definitely have margins to make up. There's a support for DGAS at 2390. So I really like that setup. That's one that I've traded before, and if it breaks above 24, then that's signs of upward momentum. AMD still back at 1384, 1381, and then ZN. ZN from $4 to $4.20. Again, you have your 5% potential. So JNUG on this trade with like $1, this one has about like 4 to 7% potential. DGAS, if it goes from how it usually did from 24 to 25, then I mean that wasn't huge potential. It was like 3 to 5% potential. AMD from 13 to 14, again, yeah, nothing huge. Like I think it was like 4 to 5% potential. And then Rig from 8, yeah, that was like 4% potential. And then ZN, that was 5% potential. I like how they're all super slanted. Shows you guys my perfect penmanship. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. I hope I usually don't do this and kind of like break it down for you guys, but I want to make sure those that didn't see kind of like the whole breakdown, because you guys are joining us live. These are pretty much the stocks that we're calling out. They're actually the stocks that we're talking about in our Sunday stock talk. I did it a little bit different this week, so let me know what you guys thought about me talking about the stocks that I saw potential in rather than just the ones that you guys saw potential in. But I feel like we did a pretty good job calling these stocks out. They're performing just the way that we expected. And let's see. ZN is still at 406. I'm just going to close it here. DGAS is holding above 23.90, and it's at 23.94. But again, I'm not going to buy in until the break above 24, maybe even 24.10. Rig is at 844, so again, still holding pretty well. JNUG is at 1761, so again, still holding pretty well. And AMD is at 1386 to 1385, so we're doing pretty decent. I'm gonna let's go ahead and see. I'm gonna dedicate after this live stream, because the live chat is still there. I'm gonna dedicate, like, I think the live chat is open still for like 3 minutes, I think, after the live stream is done. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I have all my alerts set for the different stocks that I'm going to be trading. So again, only trade. So again, we have 3 rules with TechBot Solutions, and you never trade based on anyone else's opinion. You only invest in what you personally see value in. So if you don't understand what it is that we're talking about or what it is that people are talking about and trading, then don't trade it. Don't jump into the hype. And that's one of the best practices that I can share with you guys. And the last thing is always have a plan when it comes to trading. Always be able to identify a good buy point, a good sell point, and then where to stop loss out to be able to manage your risk. So I'm going to end it there. I'm going to dedicate, if you guys want to ask me any questions, about 3 minutes on the live stream, and then I'll move my way back to the TechBot Solutions group chat. The links are provided for you guys down below. It's the Facebook group for TechBot Solutions. Again, you just have to have a Facebook account. It's free. Then on the top pinned post, there are a series of group chats, again, free, that you guys can join. All we ask you to do is to provide a supportive community for both new and experienced traders. That's all we ask you guys to do. So if you guys can help us out with that, that would be 100% the best thing that you guys can do. If you guys have any comments or questions or want to reach out to me, DM me within the TechBot Solutions group chat. And thank you guys all for tuning in. Continue working hard. Continue doing what it is that you guys love. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, guys.